Lived experiences bring a new social innovation program into the community. Something that's really unheard of, that we really need in our community. I started this program because of my own experience in life. And I wasn't educated. I was very disconnected from my own family, from my own community, and even from the whole system itself, Oceanside itself. The whole idea is to bring as much wonderful people together, to really have a support system for not only our youth, but also our homeless people, or just our working families itself. I'm on a mission to educate, to heal, and to support our communities. The more we smile, the better we live.
Events like this are highly of importance. I mean, it brings awareness to people that don't have this information or not really aware of what's happening out there. It brings people together from all aspects and really have that conversation, a real raw conversation, a human conversation, and how do we come together as a team, as a city, as a community.
So our first group of speakers are going to speak very personally. And so I want to thank them in advance for sharing their stories, their struggles, their realness, their beauty. So if you'll give a round of applause for our first group of speakers, they will introduce themselves.
You guys sure about this? Good morning. Si se puede. This moment means a lot to me. This means a lot to me. How you guys doing? Yeah, come on, cheer it up, let's go. Oh man, this has been a journey. I stand up here and I'm humbled. I am blessed. I feel the love. I feel the presence. I feel value right now. You guys are giving me worth. You guys are giving me a time and opportunity to be a part of your life right now at this moment. And so I want to share about a little story, a 30-second story that happened to me when I was going through my transition. I grew up right here in Oceanside, right? Oceanside, where are my Oceanside people at? Come on, cheer it up. Cheer it up. See, the cool thing about Oceanside was that it was very welcoming at some point. But what happened was that I was so disconnected from my family because they were working so much that the streets were welcoming to me. And so my mentors were people from the streets that were, they were doing some other things that my parents didn't think that coming to this world was, or America was the thing to do. So I grew up as a street kid. As a matter of fact, I grew up near Coast Highway was my streets. The cool thing about this theater is that at some point, I was sleeping outside of this theater. I'm 36 years old. My daughter just turned 13 years last month. I forgot her age. 13 years last month. That means I'm celebrating 13 years of sobriety. Yes. Let me explain something to you. What I mean is that I'm celebrating 13 years of growth, 13 years of transformation, 13 years of celebrating life. I'm not hurting myself. I'm not killing myself. And that's the most beautiful part about mental health that has taught me how to respect my own feelings, how to respect my own thoughts, how to respect and value my own decisions, how to respect the people around me. See, you guys are part of my network. You guys are part of my support system now that I didn't have back then, or that I did, but in a different way, right? And so today, you guys are giving me that value, that trust, that motivation to keep going. And it's all because of the power of mental health, the power of the language of mental health. So here's my 30-second story. I was walking down the street, just a kid, disconnected, had nowhere to go. And some guy goes up to me and said, "Hey, dude, you look lost." I was like, well, I got nothing to do, right? I got a backpack full of beer. I got some crack pipes in my pocket, and I'm walking down the street. And some guy just decided to take this time to say hi to me. He bought me a burrito. That's why I love burritos, hence the stomach right now. Don't be judging. But he gave his time to me. And as I kept going, I realized, man, there's something out there who just noticed me. And that just kind of changed my mind. I'm like, damn, dude, there's someone out there who actually cares about me. My parents love me, but they just work so much. They were just working all the time. But this one individual that said hi to me just changed the way it made me feel that one day. Now I asked all you guys to be here today because I want all of us to change the way we approach people. the way we change in our language and our communication, the way we go about saying hi, the way we go about just introducing our services to individuals. Because there was at some point that I was looking for help. And I was never good enough because of a grant. I was never good enough to qualify for services. When I was searching for help, it was always my fault. I was never drugged enough. I was never drunk enough. I was never poor enough. I was never Mexican enough. I was never white enough. I was never enough for people to help me out, for services, for nonprofits to say, hey, dude, let me give you the day of light or the time of the day. So the coolest thing for me right now is that everybody's here because of me. Come on now. Come on now. Yes. Come on now. Yes. Yes. And that to me is still new. It's different. I don't know if you guys are here because you guys want something from me, because I'm data to y'all. I don't know if you guys are here because you guys are getting paid to be here, whatever the case might be. But you guys are here. And today we walk out of here as best friends. And for those who don't know me, you better hug me. And for those who also know me for years, I just want to give you more hugs and kisses. And so today, I would love for you guys to participate. I would love for you guys to grow with me. Give me more chance, give me more opportunity like me. We have people in this room who care. You guys care so much that you guys should spend a day with me, drive from San Diego, come all the way to Oceanside, eat some tacos, and just get to learn from us. So today, I love you guys. Tomorrow, I will love you guys even more. And I'm sure that we're here because it's this collaborative effort. Because as we all know, collectively, it's our fault that society is the way it is. Collectively, it's our fault. But collectively, we also have the solution and the power to change people's lives. And it all takes 30 seconds of people's time to just say hi to somebody. We all are deserving of public safety. We all are deserving of love. We all are deserving of every single resource this God-given earth has given to us. Let's use it for the better. All one. Love you guys.
Thank you, Oscar. How do you follow that?
Yeah, follow that.
Great, thanks. Send the gay guy next. When I was invited by Oscar to participate, I was honored because even though I'm not born in Oceanside, maybe my accent is not Carlsbad either, so I grew up in Italy. But hey, in my defense, I can tell you that queer people have been here since our Luceño people here with the Two-Spirit experience. So I stand on big shoulders, and I try to do good in lieu of that. I will be on my story. My name is Max. I run the local LGBT center in North San Diego County. How many of you know that we have one? Good. I'm glad. I don't have to spend more money in marketing, so that's good. I'm an immigrant. I came to this country 23 years ago. I stopped counting. And I came here for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I'm Italian, beautiful place. My family is there. I've been loved and supported, even though my family was quite poor. So I had a good upbringing, but the trouble of being a queer kid in a place where queer people weren't so well accepted at the time, it just gave me that anxiety to look elsewhere and find the right place for me to be and build a family and marry the person I loved and so forth. So California looked pretty good at the time, still does. So I came here. I didn't plan anything. I was already not that young anymore. I was 30, not English whatsoever, still struggling with that. But I came here, I realized that I could perhaps make a difference for myself first. So when people come to me and say, Max, you guys have done amazing work, and I always feel very troubled by that because you just feel, I have any idea how much I gain from it personally as a person. And I feel selfish in doing that work because actually every time I connect with someone, I learn something new. So I came here, I became undocumented right away, 6 years, the pressy, and that was troubling because I became a prisoner in my own house. I couldn't go anywhere. And in step forwards in moving to Oceanside and realizing that we needed a space for our queer youth to be represented because they were killing themselves by the month, we just opened a space. We connected with the community it took 3-4 years to even open a space. But once we worked together, I said, now what? What are we going to do? And we started hearing about the disparities of our people in North San Diego County, and the challenges, the violence, the isolation, the mental health, and what that even meant. And then we realized there were not service providers that could serve our community. Yeah, a lot of people will and meant well, but there was no one. No doctors that could understand what LGBT people really need. And even though the AIDS crisis it's 30 years behind, people were dying like flies in my community and wouldn't be served. There was war against the LGBT community, and in some cases still is. Well, I'm sharing all of this with you not because I want to bring this heavy cloud and so much love that Oscarine and his team have created, but because we need to be conscious about having real conversation where we are today. I think we need to all detox ourselves from what we had created, what we have been responsible for, but also what we are perpetrator as a victim of our own dynamics. And I'm referring about institutions of violence that we live in. My own community nowadays in San Diego County, 40% of the homeless youth from the age of 16 to 24 happen to be homeless. 40% of the age 16 to 24 happen to be homeless. Number one reason, family rejection. Folks, there is not week or months that goes by where at the center, me, our staff, our volunteers don't meet a family or a kid that had to run away from home because this lack of love and support. And I have to say, I hope I don't offend anyone, organized institutional religions have been the number one problem against LGBT people, their well-being and their mental health. Nowadays in our county, we have more churches that do work against LGBT people than others that are affirming still. So what that means to the mental health, imagine. 1976 was the last year where the DSM, for those of you who are mental health provider, it's the Bible for therapists, were saying that LGBT people are sick, need to be cured, that we just can't have it. That was 1976 where the definition changed. Without any scientific research, that was put in the books for many, many, many years. And we really had to go back to our native ancestors to realize how LGBT people at the time, of course, they weren't called like that, but to spirits, so many other ways were actually affirmed as part of the community, because after that, colonization has destroyed everything. So we're rebuilding that. So why I say detox? Because we are all part of certain dynamics sometimes. I work for a nonprofit, I created a nonprofit, and sometimes I deal with the challenges like, how do we serve the community but we empower them at the same way? How we don't become the white savior so people, look, hi goods, I can help you, but we can change the dynamics of oppression so that these people can empower themselves and take on their own destiny. I love what Oscarino, the team, has done in the community because it speaks to that, to me, at least. And I don't think I misinterpreted working with people, not because you think you are better than them, but because you gain from their experience and you understand that certain system in place have put people in a certain place. For queer people, relationships with police, with institutions, and religion has always been very troubling. I mean, I love our captain, and we work with him. He knows that. I always do the preliminary introduction before I go at him. But police hasn't been a supported experience for LGBT people, but for any other folks that they happen to be poor. And the problem is because in the US we have criminalized poverty for a very, very long time. So we can't have this conversation without going back and see the damage that we all had caused and how we can grow from it. So experiences like this, interaction, love, being honest to each other about, hey, this is really what we're struggling with, but at the same time support the person next to you, because even institutional powers can be changed. Even institutions that have been oppressed people can be moved. And even ourselves can grow from an experience that has been perhaps traumatic to ourselves and the people that we serve. So I know that today will be an introduction of this conversation, and I'm proud and honored to be part of it. And so thank you for listening. Thank you.
Don't stop. Keep the energy going. Keep the energy going. Woo! Wake up! Wake up! I am Tanisha Patrice Harrell. One of the most important things to my identities is that I'm a mother. Whew. And I'm not just any mother. I'm here. I'm a proud mother. I've worked hard. I've done all the things that they told me I should do. I went to work 9 to 5. And after that, I went to school too. Because education leads you out of poverty. Oh, that talented 10th they told us about. I knock on doors and encourage my neighbors to vote. Vote. Have your voice heard. All around, I'm bringing along, like my ancestors did for me, I'm bringing along my sons. I'm bringing along my babies. I'm bringing along my nephews and nieces so they can see what community be. So they can taste and experience different cultures, different experiences. We got the Cuban drums going over here. We got the mariachi going over here. And we got the sound of anguish and pain throughout my community. But I love my communities. So you may be saying, T? T. Okay, come on now. You may be saying, T. T. What story are you trying to share with us? The story that I'm trying to share with you is that in 2020, my life began to empty out. Some due to COVID, some not. Some people I got to say goodbye to, some I didn't. And I didn't want to be that black girl that had to always go back to work and say, hey, I lost another family member. Boy, we're talking about mental health, right? I'm struggling with that word because that is not a word that is welcoming to people of color. It's not welcoming to people, period. So if anybody wants to explore another way to categorize it so that it can be more welcoming, and how not only do we diagnose, but how we experience it. I'm resourceful. I work in the nonprofit sector. I'm connected to my community. But recently, a loved one started experiencing human distress from all the loss. All the loss. All the loss. And couldn't take it anymore. Started experiencing things. You see, I'm careful in how I tell this story because even though it's a part of me, some of it ain't for me yet to tell. Although the individual gave me permission. But see, I'm a black mother. And I know what to do. I had to call PERT. Black mothers don't call the police on their loved ones. But I will tell you, I was met with grace and mercy. And if you're holding that sign to let me know it's my time, I cannot see. Because see, that's the other thing. I'm vision impaired, so you're gonna have to come a little closer. Or you're gonna have to say T, I'm just keeping it real. I gotta shake it off a little bit because I'm getting I'm feeling it in my body, you know? The word love. The word love. The word love. The word love. It's hard. We've been lied to. It's hard. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Today I am Earl Grey with no creamer. I've gone through a lot. I've experienced a lot. And this is not about oppression. This is about overcoming. I had to fire. You understand what I'm saying? The story may not be connecting to you. I'm not giving you a beginning, a middle, and the end, and in between because I'm still in it. I'm still in it. And so those of you who are experiencing things, it's okay. It's okay. And I'm going to give myself kudos because I'm an empath and I feel emotions and I feel some people in this space. I didn't want to feel y'all. I didn't want to feel my own stuff. but I feel it, because the moment that I stop feeling properly, I lose my sense of love, because that's how I'm made up. Today I made a new friend. You know how like when you go to school and you write a little note and you're like, will you be my friend, yes or no? I made a new friend. And so today, I want you all to stay with me. Earlier they were playing KOCT. I named my son after KOCT. So I want you all to say the word Fela on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Fela! Do you feel that? Then you're all right. Ashe.
That was awesome. And I loved me some Earl Grey, literally. I had 3 tea bags of Earl Grey yesterday. Love it, love it. Hello, Oceanside. Yes. I've always wanted to do that. Okay, I can do it? How about this? Hi everybody, my name is Josh, and I live just up the road in San Marcos with my wife and 2 little daughters. And I surf just across the street. I love this place. I want to invite you to come with me on a journey as we slow down today. We zoom out and get a bird's eye perspective, and we learn to listen to the birds. That's what I was going to say. That's exactly right. I actually had an opportunity to learn how to speak to the birds in South Africa. It was an interesting experience. In South Africa, we have the shamanic South African sangomas, who, when a person is experiencing what in the West would be considered a mental health psychosis, the sangomas take them in and teach them how to become mediators between the unseen realm and the community. I'm not saying that the sangomas have it all right, no, definitely not, but I am saying there's an unseen realm of meaning and purpose and connection. That meaning and purpose and connection is a chorus that I'm going to keep coming back to as we learn to sing this new song together. So when I was back home, I went to go visit a sangoma, and he picked me out. He said, you've got the gift. Come with me, and I'll teach you how to talk to the birds. I politely turned down that, unfortunately, because I had a flight to Singapore. But I did eat the guy's spinach, so who knows what that did. But what I did do was go on my own mental health journey. I got pushed down Alice's rabbit hole. And through that experience, I learned to talk a different language, the unseen language of the neurodiverse. I've come to believe that the neurodiverse are the canaries in the coal mine. And so let's learn to speak a different language today. I had to learn this in some ways the hard way. Diagnosed bipolar type 1, 6 involuntary psychiatric hospitalizations, 2 arrests. Studied this stuff, studied psychology, got degrees in that, and in theology, the study of God. And now I get to work with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, San Diego, and powerhouses like Interfaith, and now my own company, Inspired Mind Mental Health, to learn to sing this new chorus together. And the song gets bigger and bigger the more that I zoom out. I'm loving how we're singing. So I want to invite you to sing a new song with me today, to learn a new language as we zoom out and get a bird's eye perspective. And what we're going to see as we zoom out is that we're all one. We are all united by love. And that there's opportunity, that the neurodiverse are giving us a gift if we have ears to hear. I really just so appreciate you bringing your minds and your hearts here today. I don't take your attention lightly. This is where change happens. Change happens in our mind, right here today. And it starts with a vision. And that vision is a zoomed out perspective of our interconnection, and how if we can learn to listen to the chirps of the neurodiverse canaries in the coal mine, we can create societal metamorphosis in the direction of holistic wellness. So hence my talk, Neurodiversity Gifts, Your Canaries in the Coal Mine. Neurodiversity, big word, big picture. My definition is to be wired slightly differently. You don't want to shove a Windows operating system into a Mac computer. It'll start glitching, but it's not the wiring's fault. it needs the right software, and with the right software, beauty can be created. Neurodiversity is beautiful. It's a subset of biodiversity, that the intelligence that undergirds all of this made us different for a reason. And what might that reason be? Enter the birds. So in the early 1900s, miners used to take canaries, birds, into the coal mines with them, because canaries can pick up on the unseen ecosystem. They're sensitive to environments that the miners would miss. So if the canaries passed out, the miners knew how to read the signs, and they bailed from the mine because they knew that soon enough, that would happen to them too. The neurodiverse amongst us, those who can pick up on the unseen ecosystem, are offering us a gift that the oxygen, the vitality of meaning, purpose, and connection are missing from the environment. It's worth listening to the neurodiverse because the oxygen is scarce in our reductionist materialism paradigm where there's no meaning and purpose. We're just random atoms bumping up against each other. So in these few minutes that we got together, let's dig a little deeper. Let's look at mental health, psychology. Psychology is deep. The word psychology means the study of the soul. And some of the grandfathers of psychology, Carl Jung and William James, believed that if you dig deep enough, you're going to find that we're all connected. As William James said, humans are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. What affects the one affects the all. So the problem is that we forgot this in the West. Both the problem and the solution are in our minds. The problem is that we forgot our interconnection. We put mental health in a box in our minds where it's about someone else, some other group of people, the mentally ill. Thank you. So that we can pity them and we can help them, but at an arm's length. But it's not about the other. It's about you because it's about us. What affects one affects the all. We're all parts of a larger organism. A couple of weeks ago, I had this allergic reaction to the dust mites in my house. I got super itchy behind my knees. But I knew that it was an ecosystem problem. I didn't solve the problem by cutting off my legs or swathering them in numbing cream. I was like, all right, cool, thanks, itch. Where's the problem at? Found the dust mites, cleared them out, and now my whole family sleeps better. By silencing the alarm, we don't get rid of the threat. And so what is the threat? The threat is the lack of the life-giving oxygen of meaning and purpose and connection. That's what the threat is in our society. And this threat can manifest in the neurodiverse in different ways, on different sides of the spectrum. We're all on some sort of a spectrum. This lack of this air can manifest in depression, where everything's meaningless, and we're suffocated by the quiet desperation that consumes, like the society we serve. Been there, clinical depression sucks, so bad. And then it can manifest in the opposite end as well, in so-called psychosis, where there's an abundance of meaning everywhere, but we don't have the maps to interpret them. We don't have the community to help us, the wise elders who can guide us through these maps of meaning. So it's just chaos. It's just absolute chaos. I've been there too. In my so-called psychosis, the line between my inner world and my outer world dissolved until I was everything. I was all of you. We were all one consciousness, experiencing itself from different angles. So I messed that up. I misnavigated that. Well, I didn't have maps. And now I'm being the change I want to see in the world, and in community, I'm creating those maps. But is there something to be learned from that bird's eye perspective of unity? Well, who are you? Where is the line between your inner world and your outer world? Where's the line between the air that you breathe in and the trees breathe out? Are you sure we're so separate? There's interconnection, there's meaning, there's something larger that emerges in this whole. And by looking at what we are, that can give us the best destination for direction. When Alice was in Wonderland, she was kind of frustrated when she was looking for direction that the caterpillar just asked her, "Who are you?" But maybe we do need to know who we are, talk about identity before we can find a direction towards public safety, towards mental health, so we can be safe not only in our society, but existential safety, so that we can be comfortable in our own skin, so that we can feel safe to explore realms of consciousness that go beyond the visible spectrum and beyond our boxes. So who are you? Who are you? You're all beautiful, by the way. You're looking really good. Well, who are you? I thought it was awesome that it's already come up today, but in South Africa, we have the notion of Ubuntu. I am who I am through other people. So the only reason I know who I am is because I bounce my consciousness off other people like mirrors. They've told me my name is Josh. I'm a little bit peculiar. All right, cool. I'm Josh and I'm peculiar. So we're a part of a social ecosystem of reflection. And just like we're part of a social ecosystem, in ecosystems, every part has their role. So what is the role of the neurodiverse in this ecosystem that we shouldn't silence their role? Well, neurodiversity gifts, the canaries in the coal mines, can take a bunch of different forms, creative, visionary forms. But today, as we're talking about the future of public safety, the future of San Diego, I dig what San Francisco has done there. Let's look at the gift, the neurodiversity gift of prophecy. Because the biblical prophets in the Hebrew Bible, like Ezekiel, believed that they were tapping into the unseen realm, the biopsychosocial spiritual ecosystem. And they were saying, guys, if things don't change, it's not going to go well. So the prophet Ezekiel was told by God to lie on his left side for 390 days to symbolize the sin of Israel. What if he were alive in San Diego today? Over 4 billion people claim that they believe these scriptures. But if he was here in San Diego, lying on his left side for over a year, would we have the ears to hear the prophetic? Or would we place him on an involuntary psychiatric 5150 hold due to grave disability? For his own good, of course. Or what about the prophet John the Baptist, who lived out in the desert, in the wilderness, eating locusts and screaming, "Repent!" Repent. What did John want? Repent, the Greek word is metanoia. And we're told in Romans that metamorphosis happens, this transformation happens by the renewing of your mind. The renewing of your mind. So the problem is in our mind, the solution is in our mind too. What is the solution? It's seeing a larger vision of who we are. It's seeing the gifts of the neurodiverse. Viktor Frankl says, quotes Nietzsche in his book Man's Search for Meaning, which was based on his experience in a Nazi concentration camp. He says, the person who has a why can bear almost any how. We need the why brought back into mental health. We need meaning and purpose and connection. So in the final section here, let's get practical in 3 steps, 3 increasingly zoomed out steps. First, we need a change in the mental health field. Then we need a change in education broadly. Then we need capitalism 2.0. Within mental health, we need to train the mental health professionals and the public in different models, and these cultural competency models that stop people being put in these boxes with these sharp edges that you can bump your head up. A box is an accurate representation of where we are. A sphere is a much more accurate representation, and any point on a sphere could be the center. Any of your experiences could be the center of societal change. And so since the neurodiverse are sensitive to the unseen, in the mental health field, let's create schools for the gifted, for the neurodiverse amongst us, so that we can equip them on their hero's journey and teach them the patience and the skills to be able to transmute this inspiration into personal and collective transformation. So then what about within education? Within education, we create new mental health models for the kids, programming that allows them to be authentic and free and visionary, so that we move past the industrial age cookie cutter complex where we're trying to cut out squares and rather into the information age of discovery where we put them into visionary projects of synergy. And then finally, within capitalism 2.0, let's rethink our value and currency exchange system, because currency value is a reflection of what matters. With all this automation, let's let the machines do the working for us so that we can focus on what matters on our deathbed, the meaning, purpose, and interconnection. I know it's a big step, I know it's a big journey, but we can do this together. You can drive from San Diego to New York in the dark with just the headlights of your car in front of you, just one step at a time with that illumination. There's illumination right here in this room. There's illumination everywhere. And it starts right here with all of you. There's real power in synergy. There's real power in collaboration. And the stage is set with COVID and the dismantling that happened. We can create a new vision of the future, a vision that includes the unseen and the mediators of the unseen. Nikola Tesla, the neurodiverse person himself, said, "The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it'll make more progress in 1 decade than it would in all of its centuries of existence." We can create that progress, that change for all of us by feeding these seeds of the neurodiverse, which can blossom into oak trees that we can all kick it under the shade of. So it's been an honor singing with all of you today as we continue to listen to the birds chirping and sing amongst the neurodiverse. I'm at inspiredmindmentalhealth.com. Let's keep singing the next verse of the song and come back to the chorus of meaning and purpose and connection. I want to thank all of you, and I want to thank you, Oscarine, for putting this together. Thank you very much. Chirpity chirp, 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 chirp.
All right, we're going to have a little processing time, but before these people leave the stage, can you just put your hands out and send as deep love to these people? Deep love, deep love, deep love, deep love, deep love, deep love. Beautiful. All right, we have a processing piece, so they'll put that up there. This is engage. Where was hope manifested in what you heard? What do these messages mean to you? Talk to the people around you. You got 5 minutes. Talk to the people around you.
Hi everybody, my name is Tasha Berner-Horvath, and I'm honored to serve as your state assembly member for Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside Vista, and Camp Pendleton. It's a pleasure to welcome you to this symposium hosted by Lived Experiences. As a nonprofit that focuses on the intersection of mental health and public safety, the work they do is incredibly important. Whether it's helping at-risk youth overcome trauma and develop skills that will lead them to live healthy and thriving lives, or ensuring that our underserved communities have the resources they need, Lived Experiences is a lifeline. I am proud to have watched this organization grow over the past couple of years, especially for the critical assistance they've provided community members during the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the leadership at Lived Experiences, Executive Director Oscarine Ortega, board members, and incredible volunteers have made a positive impact in the lives of countless people. As your assembly member, I have worked with my colleagues across the state to make historic investments for mental health programs and improve healthcare resources in California. All of you in attendance at this forum are instrumental in implementing solutions made at all levels of government. I continue to encourage you to reach out to my office and share your insights. Together, we are better. I wish you a successful and productive forum, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this message. Thank you all for all that you do.